So how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Only all right? You're not doing super fantabulous?
I will be as soon as we start up this upcoming chapter.
Really? That confident, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we start in, I think it's been a hot minute since we finished EP5. I don't know. We talked about it briefly on the Discord, but we were actually pretty far ahead in recording EP5 because we had a bunch of other stuff we needed to do for the channel last month. So it's actually been several weeks since we last played Umineko at this point.
Shock, horror.
Yeah, I know. We've had some time to think over and percolate on some stuff. And I think I'm ready to finger a culprit in chapter 5.
Okay.
And it's based on one detail that's kept bothering me.
Interesting. I actually don't know what you're about to say, so I'm really curious.
Really? I mentioned this to you, but it was a while ago, so it might have gone past then. I think one of the people involved in this has to be canon.
Okay.
And here's why.
Okay.
So there's the scene specifically where Eva goes in to discover Hideyoshi's body, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Where Natsuhi's hiding in the closet throughout the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before she gets in there, when she's getting in there, the game makes a big point of saying that, like, oh, she stops up in the doorway and everyone can't get in around behind her and can't really see in what's going on. So almost all the cast, besides Nanja, who she lets in, are actually out in the hallway still.
Mm.
And yet Canon knows the detail that the windows in the room have all been locked and shuttered. Without being able to actually see in and confirm that for himself.
Interesting.
Yeah. And since this is the second time this has happened in that exact same room, I'm beginning to think that there actually is a way in and out of that room. Yeah. I did that. That's kind of unrelated, but like they've hinted at it twice now. I don't know what else that would be kind of getting at, but
Interesting.
yeah, that was the detail that stuck out at me upon reflection. How about you? Got any thoughts on EP5 now that we're on the other side?
I feel like we waited just long enough that it all fell out of my head.
I'm so sorry.
So
I'm so sorry. We had like 8 hours of additional... No, more like 10 hours of additional content to record last month, and it was just horrible.
So, I don't have any super new thoughts on the matter.
Easy Corey on our Discord did ask us something important, though. Now that we have some time away from EP5, what lessons do you think the chapter was trying to teach you in order to help you solve the questions of who done it, how done it, and why done it? Obviously, I think the chapter did a very important thing of making sure that you don't let yourself get corralled in to force yourself to think the way the red text wants you to. The red text is true, but also what truths they choose to present and how they choose to present them can pretty forcefully drag your thinking in a particular direction. It's possible for those things to be true and also incredibly misleading all at the same time. And I think that's kind of a reminder that, like, hey, and like the way that Erica talks about, like, that wasn't written the red, and she goes on about all their, like, how she doesn't care about the white. And all that. It's very much a reminder to, like, hey, if you're focusing on this and on the red and missing what's going on in the rest of the story, then you are going to be very, very disappointed. Because you are not going to find out what you need to. God, I haven't done Erica voice in a while.
I think for me, the big thing I was happy about is it vindicated my use of metafictional reasoning to justify things. Because all along, I have been thinking about things in terms of, well, what would it have to be? Well, maybe not all along, maybe not in chapter 1, but for quite some time had been thinking in terms of, well, what would it make sense to be going on given that this has to be a particular type of story? And
for it to be a mystery.
And I hadn't specifically looked at it in that way. Like, what makes this a mystery and not a story about magic? That bit was new, but specifically thinking in terms of this is telling a particular story.
Right.
And things have to be a certain way in order for it to do that.
Right.
And it's sensible to reason about it that way at that meta level was something I had been thinking all along. So having that tossed right out in the open and be like, yeah, do that is pretty cool. I feel like I feel pretty vindicated about that.
Yeah. As for our other grandiose theories, I still feel like we were also talking and had a very good discussion about what we expect the game will show us before it's out.
Yeah.
And I think we're both in agreement on this. The game's not going to give us the answers to the murders. The murders are the exercise left for the reader, right? The game
Too
is
big to fit in the margin here. I have a wonderful solution for all the murders, but I'll leave it as an exercise to the reader.
The murders are not what the game is, but that's what the game wants you to work on figuring out on your own, so you're thinking correctly. I think what the game will continue to do is give us more and more context for the background of what happened on Rokkenjima.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the end of it, we're going to have much more well-rounded ideas of the characters and their motivations and reasons for being on that island. And I think we're going to have a better plan, a better vision of what their plan was going on to that island that day. I think we're going to have to use that information to extract the rest for ourselves, but I think we're going to get most, if not all, of the context about what happens before the island laid out for us.
Including, all the background of who is Beatrice?
I don't know if we'll get all of the background about who is Beatrice, but I think by the end of it, we'll at least have a non-ambiguous answer as to who Beatrice is.
Okay.
I don't think you could write a game like this and then not give an answer to that.
Do you think it'll wrap up the "you are all alone on this island, and I am not you, yet I am here and will kill you"?
I don't know if it'll give the answer to that specifically, but I think by the end of it, we'll have enough information to make that riddle trivial.
And do you think we'll get the epitaph answer?
I'm going back and forth on this. I don't think we're going to get the answer to the epitaph.
Because there's so many different riddles here that it could choose to answer or not answer.
I think the epitaph is another one of the ones that's not going to be ever directly answered. I think obviously the characters have already solved it in some ways, right? And I think that's going to continue to be the case, because they don't need to give the solution to the epitaph for the rest of the story to be sensible.
And them solving it doesn't necessarily end things like it allegedly would.
Exactly. I think we're going to get one more series of hints about it before the end of the game. And that's going to be kind of the point where, okay, if you don't get it now, then I don't know how to help you, kid.
Okay. Here's my called shot.
Yep.
I think that it's going to keep getting solved by people and not given to us until Chapter 8. In Chapter 8.
Yeah.
Something different will happen and we'll get the actual solution.
Given how much shorter Chapter 8 is than all the other game boards and stuff, I wonder if it's actually going to be a game board at all or if it's going to be a proper epilogue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, quote me on that called shot when I turn out to be horribly wrong.
I mean, to be fair, the work we've put in to try to look to solve these mysteries on our own has paid up fruit at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to keep being the case going forward. So, whose backstory do you think we're getting in this chapter?
I'm
going to just call it raw. We're going to find out what's up with Ava and Hideyoshi in this chapter.
That'd be cool. I'd also be really interested in getting Kyrie's backstory, and we have not got much for her yet.
Honestly, I want to know what's up with Kyrie and the Sumideras. I
feel like that's going to come up either this chapter or next.
I think there's a reason why it's specifically the Sumideras. Well, I mean, obviously they're related to Angie, but except not. You know what I mean. I think there's more to that whole bit with Angie in the future. Running from the Sumideras is going to be much more vitally important to what Kyrie is doing on the island. Anyway,
I wish I had taken more notes or had time to rewatch a bit, because I know I had more thoughts that we discussed right after, but they'll come to me.
Yeah. We'll stop if we need to.
Don't click yet. We should read the intro.
Who's reading the intro? Who does this intro here?
I can.
Okay.
Good morning. Now the curtain shall finally rise on a game presented by that Battler-sama. Will Battler-sama manage to successfully and spectacularly fill the enormous role of Game Master? Let us bear witness to this fight from the opposite side of the chessboard. There is no longer a difficulty level. This is no longer a hint. but a confession.
Ooh, fuck yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder what that fucking means.
Yeah, right? One other thing before we hit go, though. I think if it wasn't already obvious by the end of that just because there is now a detective in the game doesn't mean that the detective's goal is to actually solve the mystery.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that, and while the detective cannot be the culprit, that doesn't preclude the detective from being an accomplice.
Yep.
And doesn't preclude the detective from purposely using the fringes of their magically ordained detective power to mislead, right? So just because Erica is probably still going to be there doesn't mean that we take her at face value.
Yeah, because we know her motivation, and she is not motivated by solving the mystery. She is motivated by dragging other people's dark secrets into the light and crushing them.
Exactly. It's in that way she very much is like a good Sherlock archetype, and that she's not here to actually. Her priority isn't solving the mystery. Her priority is intellectual exercise, and what that means to her is figuring out all these things that people don't want seen and dragging them through the mud to force them to admit to it, even when she probably knows that Natsuhi isn't guilty.
Yeah, getting a false confession from Natsuhi is plenty good for her because she can make a convincing story that drags all of the shit that Natsuhi's been hiding out into the light and ruin her life in front of everybody. That's far more rewarding than finding the right answer, I'm sure.
One other thing, oh god, we keep having things that were going on. I'm glad. Okay, that's all coming back to me. One other thing that I was thinking about was the possibility of Canon being the man from 19 years ago. The thing that would make that difficult is that obviously I think Canon is probably still transmasculine, and Natsuhi wouldn't have known that while she was raising a literal baby. But we also the baby is never ever referred to. The baby is never referred to with a gender in the flashbacks.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm a little like, a little sus.
Can we fucking talk about Kinzo just showing up with a baby? Like, dude, whose is that? Where did you get this?
The fact that he randomly shows up with
I can get you a baby. I can get you 10 babies.
Right? The fact that he can randomly show up with a baby makes me...
At any time.
Right? That gives me a lot of credence that we were at least close with our... I'm not going to call it the baby mill theory, but...
Even so, with that, I think that kind of cuts against our theory, because a fresh baby right then?
Well, we don't know how old they are. We don't know if they're we don't know if they're a literal newborn.
It's
just a baby.
Yeah, it's still a baby though, which would mean that he had kept doing all of that stuff continually enough to have a steady supply of babies until now.
Yeah, obviously it's linked to the Fukuin house somehow, but it's... Anyway.
And I kind of hadn't thought that at all. I did not think there was any baby mill. I thought it was specifically there's a couple of people who are abused.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's find out what happens. Hey, it's my turn to do the game board. Hold on, I need to also practice Erica voice.
Yeah, this is Erica voice, all right. I found it pretty easily.
Yo, do you know this game is fictional?
Wow.
Witches aren't real.
Damn.
Sorry. Court is now in session, motherfuckers. A beautiful glow shone in from the skylight over the grand cathedral. The place was somehow different from the way it had been during the witch's trial. The decorations had changed. The several pleasantly sparkling white ribbons that adorned it were like thin razors, but they trailed beautifully in the air. Flowers were arranged all over in a way that would make any place look cheerful. It was like how a single drop of impure water can spoil an entire cask of wine. Just the presence of those flowers, those ribbons, and the red carpet that ran down the center of the room made it hard to believe that this was the same place Ushiromi Natsuhi had been falsely accused of a crime. What? He's setting it up like it's a freaking wedding.
Yeah.
Oh. It had truly become a wedding chapel. Battler totally did promise Beatrice to marry her.
Who the fuck are you? Okay, I guess I'm this person, whoever they are.
Yeah, we agreed that you're taking any of the new ones.
Okay. Love is generous. Love is merciful. Love does not envy. It does not boast.
Who the fuck are these two? These words, spoken by two demons who seemed to be in charge of this gathering, were part of a ceremony for making an oath of love before the eyes of God. Of course, in this wedding celebrated by demons, there was no priest in sight. Instead, there stood the witch who controls miracles. I'm not giving her the Bernie voice. In sickness and health. Yeah. A wife's true job is to be supportive in times of sickness, isn't it? Isn't that right, Erica?
What the fuck?
Yeah! Well, you know what they say. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Okay, calling it now. Who are they marrying Erica off to?
Don't know. I don't know what to make of any of this shit. This is so fucking... I don't know.
My master.
That looks good on you. What a fitting outfit for one who has conquered the bridegroom.
I'm honored, my master.
The bride standing on the carpeted path was Furuto Erica. The groom's face couldn't be seen. The bride's outfit certainly was a pure white wedding dress. Her veil represented both the white of God's blessings and the white of a demon's cruelty. A great many goat nobles, witches, and demons were gathered for this wedding. If only their heads hadn't been those of goats, it would probably have seemed a very refined crowd worthy of this great cathedral.
I'd expect no less of you, Bern. The stuff you manage to think up is always so twisted.
A wife supporting her ailing husband. Isn't that a lovely story? It suits you well, Erica. And congratulations to you too, Mr. Groom. It's gonna be Ginzo. What?
Goda. It's gonna be Battler.
At that point, Berncastle stared straight into the groom's eyes. The groom didn't answer. His eyes were gray. His lips would mutter something from time to time, but no one could tell if the words meant anything. Hey. Listen. Are you listening? You people? She spoke to the groom in the plural. Of course, there was only one groom. And of course, the gray-eyed groom didn't answer.
So even though you can hear her, you can't answer? Don't worry, okay? Battler-san.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll just take everything that you are and trample it into the ground.
The Witch of Miracles sneered with an evil smile that even a demon would shudder to look at. Even that sneer provoked no response from Battler's dim eyes.
People live for the sake of love. Therefore, today you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all
I
time.
thought Battler was the GM.
Me too.
Just give it a rest already, you demons. What comes next?
The couple will now make an oath of eternal love. After that, they will exchange rings.
On Battler's hand was a ring bearing the seal of the one-winged eagle, proof that he was the territory lord of this world. And on Erica's finger was a diamond ring that could not be shattered by any miracle. Diamonds signify an eternal bond. However, in Greek, the word diamond simply means unbreakable.
Title drop.
Still haven't seen that show.
God, someday we're going to just marathon every season.
Erica wasn't vowing to love Battler forever. She just wanted to rule over him as her eternal property. This wedding was being performed for the sole purpose of defiling Battler.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't love you forever. After all, the point of the ceremony is to make you submit to me. Your heart will be shut inside an inescapable closed room forever, where I, Furuto Erica, the detective and witch of truth, will command it. Your position as territory lord and your ring will become mine.
Get.
Huh? Oh, what was that?
Get out.
The fucking canned applause.
I fucking love it. Woo!
Wow, I feel like I'm on a fucking sitcom.
Bernie's face.
But also, think about, so, Umineko answer arcs mod, where every time Erica says, through the mere presence of so-and-so, this reasoning is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone? And it's followed up by like 5 minutes of raucous applause and cheers, like she's the
like
Kramer.
She's fucking Kramer.
Yeah. I think someone should do that mod.
Oh man, I still love how that got so out of hand that they had to physically like tell people not to applaud every time you enter the stage in later seasons. It's fucking hilarious. You know what? I'm surprised that for the actual wedding dress, given how much Ryukishi clearly loves the fucking Guns N' Roses wedding dress thing, right? The fucking unitard with like the not a skirt. What would you call that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go for that on the actual wedding dress.
To be fair, we're only seeing the front of the dress.
Yeah, that's true. Ryukishi outfit, but it's backwards.
It's just showing Erica's entire ass.
Party's in the back now, baby.
What the fuck, Ryukishi?
Yeah, I'll bet you can't get out of that closed room. After all, you made it yourself, didn't you? You'll suffer in that room for all eternity. And I'll remain by your side as your wife forever. Getting to enjoy that look of anguish on your face all by myself. I'll defile you forever. You Shirami a battler.
Gee, could this game have something to say about toxic relationships?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe. Don't hold on, banger alert.
Yeah.
Hey, look, everyone's happy to be here.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
You do have to love it, actually.
Do you think the wedding dress has a pocket for chopsticks?
Well, I mean, if it doesn't, then what's the fucking point? How else are you supposed to eat all the rice?
Whose silhouette was that? We haven't seen that character yet.
Huh. That's fucked up if true.
God. Well, I mean, we've already got 2 new characters that I don't know who the fuck they are, so... Oh, no, Angie! Oh, good. Angie is in the opening for this? Oh, there's... She's fucking Sans Undertale!
I think we said that last time, too.
I know, but it's never not funny. I didn't know this predates Undertale. Don't tell me in the comments. You're just making yourself a fool. We know. And yet, unmistakably, she is Sans Undertale.
Or is Sans Undertale a Furuto Erica archetype?
You mean Bernie? Was that? Oh, that was. I thought that was Erica with the Sans. I thought that was Bernie.
Oh, maybe it was Bernie.
Literally interchangeable. Anyway. Nothing but bangers.
Yeah.
I gotta say. I'm glad all the budget went to licensing all the music for this or commissioning it, because it's fucking great.
God, I love games where you just hear a cool song and then read for 120 hours.
Right? It's fucking amazing. Also, the soundtrack for this game is like 200 plus tracks, each of which is like fully, it's fucking wild. Anyway, all that could be heard was the sound of the wind. A sound of misfortune, bringing sadness and unease to all who heard it. Okay, so now these three are interchangeable.
Oh no, that
Right?
means they needed more space for more witches. Oh fuck.
Oh, I was trying to see if the fucking other demons were in here yet, but they're not.
Oh shit, oh
Hey,
fuck.
look at Battler,
Battler!
though.
Uppercase
all
Battler.
uppercase Battler. I told you he's fucking magical now.
You fucking called it.
The Endless Sorcerer and the Final Game Master. Ruler of the game board and the Territory Lord. Prove that he has won Beto's game. Oh, shit. Whatever. No. He must act as the part of Game Master. I have a problem. By succeeding in this, his victory will be acknowledged and Beto's game will reach its end. Because he knows all the truth, the plane on which he exists is higher than all of the others. Interesting. All of the goats. Yeah, okay, so we just still don't get anything about these new demon ladies. Remember we saw this background?
I think so.
We did back when I think it was Lambda threatening Angie. Yeah, so they've been hinting at the chapel for a while now. Slowly, I came back to my senses. I finally regained consciousness on top of a bed with a firm mattress. Where was this again? I can't remember where this is, but I can vaguely recall that I must not remain here. The room was dimly lit. There was a light on, but that just made the darkness and eeriness of the room more apparent. There were no curtains over the window, but it was too dark outside to see anything beyond it. I squinted into that pitch blackness. It felt as though I could see the witch of the forest peeking back at me from the darkness, and I averted my gaze from the window in fear. I can't see or hear it, but I get the feeling that if I leave this room, it'll be bright and warm, and someone else will be there for me. I want to get to where everyone else is as soon as I can. Bad memories from when I was young, very young, began to well up. Horrible, harsh memories of when I started dozing off during a family gathering and was put to sleep in some room I didn't know. I remember waking up there, incredibly lonely and sobbing. I must not remain in this room. I just want to get out of here quickly. Once that thought crossed my mind, I didn't want to stay in the room a second longer than I had to. I'm scared. It's creepy. Where is everyone? I want to get out of here right now. I opened the door, trying to leave the room. A pleasant glow snuck in through the crack of the door. I thought the corridor was filled with a comforting light. Couldn't actually hear them, but I could sense that far away people were enjoying themselves. I'm sure everyone's gathered in the room across from this one. I've been shut up in this lonely, creepy room. All alone. I should go, quickly. As soon as I thought this, a merciless metallic sound rang out, and the door refused to open any further. The chain had been set. I've always hated chain locks. You can open a normal lock just by twisting, but chain locks are built in an annoying way, and I couldn't work them easily. So I've hated them ever since I was very young.
That's why I've always carried a pair of bolt cutters with me at all times. Snip. And that's how I did the murders.
Snip, snap. Snip, snap, as they say. See? Even this chain is causing me trouble, and I just can't get it undone. Why is this happening? I just want to leave this creepy room right away. Just on the other side of this thin door, everything is bathed in a warm light. Can't undo it. I just can't undo this chain. The more desperate I grew, the more that unsettling darkness seemed to be closing in on my back, and the more frightened I became. Then I finally noticed there's something wrong with this chain. Yes, there is a chain, but this isn't a chain lock. This is just a chain staked into the door, preventing it from opening any further. In other words, it isn't made to be opened. What the hell is going on? Who would do something like this, damn it? No matter what I did, no matter how much I struggled, I couldn't pull the stake out, or undo the chain, or break the mechanism. This drawer was just a demon's mouth, made to trick me into thinking it would open before crushing my hopes. Even so, if I could only just open this door somehow, if I could just get out into that pleasant corridor, this desire forced me to keep my hand glued to the doorknob. But it was useless. Both the chain and the stake were firm, and no matter how much I clattered them about, there was no chance of the door opening any further. Even though I could see the pleasant hallway through the crack, I had no chance of opening the door any further. Maybe someone would come if I yelled. Maybe the door can be opened easily from the outside. When I thought this, I tried to call out to someone, but couldn't make the words come out. I could mouth, "Someone, come here," but no voice left my lips. What is going on? Someone, come. Why? Why can't I cry out? Help me, help me. The mere fact that I can't say help me out loud is even scarier. If I turn around, the witch gazing into the room from the darkness outside might be inside the room this time, staring right behind me. I'm frightened. I'm scared. I'm scared. Someone help me. I can't get out. I can't get out. Let me out of this room. Help me. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Let me out. Let me out. Help me. Help me. Help me. Well, I have no idea who this is. I thought the game, so the game is now mocking us almost for being like, you haven't figured out the chain yet, have you? Huh? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I was like, okay.
Is this going to be like Ronove?
It sounds like they have arrived, lady.
Huh? Oh. Nope, absolutely wrong.
Oh, sorry. Got a frog in my throat there. I'm pretty sure I gave him cool guy voice. I look at him and I'm like,
way past cool.
He must have like cool guy voice, right? Amakusa ran his finger down my cheek. In an instant, I woke from the doze I'd just been in. I glared at Amakusa for waking me up in such a creepy way, but he just pretended not to notice. Hey! Where is this?
Wait. This is Angie. I should read.
Oh, yeah. This is Angie. Yeah, do it. Absolutely.
Is this? It feels like a parlor in some dignified person's house, but I have no memory of this place at all. Where is this? And why am I?
You still have a sleep, lady?
Yeah, sorry. Where are we?
Huh?
Apparently, he hadn't expected me to forget something like that just because I wasn't fully awake yet. For once, I agreed with him. Why am I in some parlor that I don't recognize? The sound of the footsteps from the they Amakusa had mentioned had come right up to the opposite side of the door. I could hear conversing voices. Is that a woman? Judging by the coffee and snacks laid in front of me, I was the guest here. In that case, I'd better remember why I came here. Or at least who it was I came to visit. Who am I? Ushiromiya Angie. Who's the man standing behind me?
Hey!
Amakusa Juza.
What's up? Hi!
The man who used to be my guard long ago. He's now the bodyguard Okonogi assigned to me.
Still haven't figured out how to get my hair out of my eye, though.
In that case, is this after Aunt Ava's death? When I've thrown off my pursuers? On that journey to find out what happened 12 years ago? Is that how it went? Do I really have a memory like this? After a knock, the door opened, and the person I must have come here to meet entered along with an assistant. Oh, wonderful. Even after seeing her face, I can't remember who she is.
Our sincere apologies for keeping you waiting. Hachijo Toya is here.
That's a relief. The assistant introduced her to me first. And I finally remembered who she was. She? I thought it was a he. Excuse me, but are you...
Oh, that was Amakusa.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa, sorry there. Sorry, you know how it is with the Ushiromiyas and the curse, right? Hang out around them too long. Are you,
Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
That's right. I am Hachijo Toya.
That's a cool name, how it begins and ends with the same kanji.
It's great. You should try it sometime.
The magazines were all talking about your book signing event. Supposedly a mysterious male author showed up wearing sunglasses and a mask. Never thought you'd be a woman. What's the deal?
That was just a double arranged for by the editing department. I was the helper standing behind him at the book signing.
Now there's a shock. I haven't read your works, but I'll bet you're even more mysterious than your books.
Readers only pretend to read books. You read them based merely on the name of the author and the brand they think they're actually read them. No matter what I write in my books, they don't truly read anything. They just pretend to read so they can look smart and knowledgeable and keep up with the current fad. Why on earth should I expose myself to these people? Why indulge in such trash?
She's got her own theme, so we can tell that she's going to be important.
Jesus Christ.
I see. Looks like you're Madame Hachijo, all right. This person really is eccentric. There's no doubt about it. This is Hachijo Toya herself. Hachijo Toya is a mystery novelist who's become the center of discussion lately. It seems her books themselves have been highly praised, but it's her mysterious debut that's attracted so much attention towards her lately. Last year, she managed to win several different awards for exceptional mystery novels offered by multiple large publishing companies, submitting each of her works under a different pen name. And after that, several highly regarded anonymous works were discovered, one after another, to have been stories she had written in the past under false names, and her popularity soared as she herself became more mysterious than her books. Despite all of this, the author herself never appeared in public, and everything about her was wrapped in a veil of secrecy. However, just a few days ago, this author finally made a public appearance for a book signing, showing up with a mask that covered his face, and drawing even more public attention. And yet, apparently even that had been a fake. Given this person's radically unconventional track record, it was hardly a surprise to hear her casually insult her fans like this.
I know quite a lot about you too, Shiromiya Angie-san. The talk shows have been saying all sorts of things.
I'm sure you've heard nothing good.
Yes, nothing good at all. Apparently you employ and fire people on a whim, try to resolve everything with money, and care nothing for the law as long as you get your way.
Yep, sounds about right.
However, I happen to like intelligent people like you.
Is that why you agreed to meet with me?
That sounds like how Angie would run a company.
It doesn't, huh?
That definitely sounds like the way they would try to slander her, though.
Since when has Angie run a company?
Right? Is this after? Did she somehow survive the shootout in Rokkenjima?
This is really something,
I
huh?
don't know where this falls.
Yeah.
No longer, yeah, because like no longer my bodyguard, no longer the person hired to protect me, but now my bodyguard assigned to me by Okanogi.
Well, that was how it went in chapter 4, though.
Okay.
Because he used to be her bodyguard, and then later got assigned to.
This could still be in chapter 4, is what you're saying.
Maybe, but it also doesn't make sense. And it was clear that it was being kind of duplicitous about that. Like, do I have such a memory? Is this happening now? Am I remembering it? Did it even happen? So I think we're deliberately not supposed to know.
Exactly. You're the only person who's managed to spot that Itoi Kukoro Regional Itoi Kukoro Regionamu is another pen name used by me, Hachijo Toya.
Let me try saying it. Itoi Kukuro Regonamu.
See,
that's a fun name.
It is. But I also had to pronounce it 2 times before you could get it.
Yeah. It's such a long name.
Actually quite impressive.
Itoi Kukuro Regonamu. It was a pretty strange pen name. However, if you match the Japanese syllables to numbers, you can read it as 1101.
Hold on.
960576.
Fuck Japanese numbers. Damn it. Fuck. Okay, hold on.
Okay, we taking a break to do some sleuthing? I'm down.
Hold on. No, I refuse to let this go. Okay. So what was the number that we had in the
I don't fucking remember the number.
God, right? Where did I put the notes on this? Put it under clues, I think. I'm looking at our Notion page right now where we put all of our notes. Yeah, okay, so the number was 07151129. So... Okay, I'm going to come back to that later when we have a chance to look at what the syllables actually are, but to match the Japanese syllables to numbers, how do you match them up? Like, by just, like, Ichi is 1? No, it's more complicated than that.
But also, like, kanji have multiple readings is going to be part of it, probably.
Yeah, okay. Shit. All right, well.
Because some of these, like, there's the go there, that's just 5, but there's some of these that are also probably, like, the other reading or something. Oh, 11 019 960 576. Interesting. So it's going to explain some. This massive number is equal to 18 to the 8th power. 18 to the 8th. In Japanese, Toya no Hachijo.
Ah. But see, that's weird, because the number that we get in the game has a leading 0.
Yeah, huh?
Which would imply that it's not, like, an actual full numeral, but an arrangement of numbers.
Yeah. Or in other words, Hachijo Toya.
Very well done. I was quite impressed, actually. In fact, I was so impressed that I decided to let you meet me in person. Welcome to my mansion, child of man.
Child of man. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love her. She sucks.
She sucks so much, and I love
by the way, if she becomes like a super recurring character and talks a lot, I'm happy to take over on her.
Okay.
Oh, right, I'm reading the narration.
You are.
Her manner of speaking was extremely condescending, but perhaps because of her elegant manner, it didn't feel particularly irritating. This person had a sort of majestic grandeur about her, which made that style of speech seem almost natural. At least, that's how it felt to me. In fact, it felt almost as though this was the manifestation of some noble being, who would have no need to show herself before mere humans under normal circumstances. Since I'm not particularly a fan of hers, I guess this is proof that her mysterious charisma really is nothing to be laughed at. However, I didn't come here to talk to Hachijo Toya, the mystery novelist. I'm interested in Itoi Kukuro Regonamu, the mysterious web author who only released her works over the internet. Around the Japanese parts of the internet, Itoi Kukuro is an extremely famous witch hunter. However, she isn't a big opinion leader like Professor Otsuki. She's one of those message bottle forgers who are always the center of vigorous debate. Message bottle forgers are, as the name suggests, people who forge and post the contents of what purport to be mysterious message bottles detailing the events of the Rokkenjima incident. They claim to have discovered a new message bottle and post either a very similar counterfeit story or a new theory with their own interpretation of the truth, all of which are supposedly written by Ushiromiya Maria. In so doing, they openly take on the name Ushiromiya Maria, writing up new bizarre tales as if they'd been present themselves and knew the truth.
Fuck, this is some 4D chess shit.
They then send these stories out into the newest sea discovered by humankind, the internet, claiming that it's a third or fourth message bottle.
Oh, so at least
The first two
are at least generally accepted. Okay.
The third and fourth are probably fake. God damn it. And we were talking about this as well. Because we were like, were the third and fourth even message bottles? We never got that for sure. We knew the first one was. We had heard there was a second, which we weren't certain was the second story, but we had heard there was a second.
Right.
And then nothing about the third and fourth.
Right, other than they're just given to us.
Holy fuck.
Interesting.
All of the first forgers were either...
Sorry.
All the first forgers were either simple pranksters or crooks trying to swindle collectors.
Watched by X Family, I guess. I guess that's what this comes down to.
Eventually, though, people who claimed to have solved the riddles of the message bottle tales and reached the truth started to appear. And they started creating original works of their own, third and fourth message bottles from Ushiromiya Maria, as though they had moved over to the riddle teller's side. Anyway, fuck you fanfic authors. Signed, Ryukishio7.
I don't think that's what Ryukishio's saying here. I don't think Ryukishio7 is saying fuck fanfic authors. I don't think that's what's happening at all.
These people rewrote the tale of the witch with whatever interpretations they wanted, and every once in a while, parts of their theories would gain big followings on the net. Some of these creations grew to be so widely trusted that they were believed to contain some grain of truth. The more rigid witch hunters openly despised these people, calling them forgers, counterfeiters, or just witches. Though they claimed to have reached the truth, they refused to tell anyone and created fake message bottles as though testing everyone else. It was no surprise that more straight-laced witch hunters were seriously annoyed by these forgers. However, among those who simply liked to entertain themselves with the occult fantasy of Rokkenjima, an extremely small number accepted these creations as literary works, glad of these additions to the mysterious tale. Itoi Kukuro was the most highly regarded of these forgers. Oh my fucking god!
Are you fucking with me?
End of the Golden Witch. Oh my fucking god.
Remember a very long time ago when I suggested that maybe it was people role-playing to each other?
Yeah.
Over the internet?
Yeah.
I thought it might have been like a on a mud or something similar, but no. No. This is delicioso right here.
This is just a story about fan squabbles on AO3.
Yes! Oh, why are you making fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you. I don't know why you'd see it that way.
End of the Golden Witch.
I've read that one.
Oh, have you?
That's one hell of a hobby you got there, killing off other people's families however you like.
Wait, which one is End of the Golden Witch? Is that this one?
Isn't that the fourth? You found the list of anime episodes.
I found the list of anime episodes. That's not what I wanted, actually. Hold on. Yeah, End of the Golden Witch was the previous one.
Oh, it was chapter 5. Sorry, episode 5. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Forgive me, I don't know all the episode names by heart. I know, big fan. Did you come all the way here just to say that? I think not. Final descendant of the Ushiromiya family.
In her latest forgery, End, she killed off 7 members of my family, at least during the actual story. No, if you count Alliance and Banquet. Hey, called it.
She did every single one?
Not every single one.
I mean, after the first 2.
Yeah, seems like it. The other forgeries she's made before now. Then she's killed off most of my family in horrible ways, over and over again. Of course I want to complain. However, all of her works are known for being in both form and level of perfection, the closest tales to those written by Ushiromiya Maria herself. Wait, so this is fucked up though, because we had figured the third was the world from which Angie came from, because she grew up with Ava.
Yeah,
the first second couldn't be accurate, but they might be real bottles, but they couldn't contain what actually happened. In particular, Itoi Kukuro's first forgery, Banquet of the Golden Witch, managed to fit everything including Ushiromiya Ava's escape to Kuadorian.
So this apparently is a detail that is...
People wondered whether this might be the true story of Rokkenjima, and it even made it onto the talk shows. So far, all of these tales have been nothing more than electronic text on the web. However, people will eventually realize that Itoi Kukuro is actually Hachijo Toya. When that happens, they'll become the works of that bizarre Hachijo, and no one will think of them as mere fan creations. People will probably start wondering if this might actually be a third message bottle she found and released under the guise of a story she herself wrote. When that happens, these stories will probably seem even more bizarre and credible. You're pretty cunning, aren't you?
Why do you say that?
You're doing this to make your forgeries seem more mysterious and more credible.
And what do you mean by credible?
Once you gain credibility, your forgeries will rise to the level of truth.
Rise to the level of truth? How foolish. Such a thing is unnecessary for my works.
Are you saying that because your works are truth and not mere forgeries?
Correct. They are truth, so there's no need for them to rise into anything.
You aren't Maria One-chan, and you definitely weren't on Rokkenjima on that day. So how can you be so absurd as to call this the truth?
Hey, don't lose your cool, lady.
Shut up. What makes you think I'm losing my cool?
No,
I am perfectly fucking calm.
The fact that you're losing your cool, maybe, just maybe. Look at my head. It always comes you down.
Angie, that's me, half realized that she'd let her emotions get the better of her. When I'm mad, I talk about myself in the third person.
Let me read the narration for Angie's section. Okay. Proceeds to not read narration.
She let out a sigh and shrugged.
Your reason for coming here, it wasn't to yell at me for killing your family several times within my forgeries, correct?
Hachijo had been smiling at Angie kindly, but in a condescending manner. Or else, like a mother might watch over a very small child. Angie realized this and was unable to suppress her irritation. Apparently, Amakusa could tell that Angie was getting worked up. He joked around with her for a bit so that they could start the conversation over again from the beginning.
The thing you came here to hear. It's the truth I've reached, is it not?
Why are you so sure that you've reached the truth?
Because I've understood all the tales.
And I'm asking you why you're so sure about that.
Do you think the sun ever revolved around the earth?
Hachijo suddenly started talking about the Ptolemaic theory. Angie was about to tell her not to answer questions with more questions, but she quickly realized what Hachijo meant.
Humans used to support the Ptolemaic theory. However, that theory has been rejected in the modern age. Does this mean that the instant that theory was rejected, the sun stopped moving, and the earth started revolving around the sun?
Of course not. The truth doesn't change based on what humans believe.
Then right now, your denial of my truth means exactly the same thing.
The idea of heliocentrism was proposed by several scholars before Galileo. However, it was hard to objectively prove that theory using the scientific techniques available at the time. Even so, that didn't change what the truth was. And yet, it moves. So, you're saying the truth is still the truth, whether you can prove it or not?
Correct. In the future, when the full truth finally becomes known, people will look back and realize that I had already discovered it.
Apparently, Angie just couldn't stand Hachijo's attitude. She kept getting irritated, and every time Amakusa would joke around until she settled down again.
Hey!
However, there could be no mistake that Hachijo was a genius, and had used her extraordinary intuition to form a most interesting outlook on the events that occurred on that island. That was why Angie had wanted to contact Itoi Kukuro and hear her views. Still, this meeting truly had been fortunate for Angie. She hadn't been absolutely sure that Itoi Kukuro was Hachijo Toya. She hadn't thought that the publishing company would really contact the author. And moreover, she hadn't dreamed that the mysterious masked author would grant her an interview under such short notice. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that the sum of the events leading to this meeting made for nothing short of a miracle. Yes, a miracle.
Lambda, you feel that? Something going on.
After all, in almost all cases, I'd never be contacted by the publishing company and would leave for Nijima the next day. Oh, interesting, leaving for Nijima. So this would have been before going to Rokkenjima.
Huh?
I'd leave for Nijima, then go on to Rokkenjima. And then give One-chan a Sakutaro stuffed animal.
Hey!
Huh? Why a Sakutaro stuffed animal? My memory of the future is all muddled. My head hurts. Hachijo said something about showing Angie something good, rose from the sofa and headed for the study desk.
I'm gonna show you something good.
When she turned her back, Amakusa asked Angie, who seemed to be troubled by something, if she was okay.
Hey, are you okay?
Hey, Amakusa,
Yeah, that's me.
how long have I been here?
What? You've been looking weird for a while now. What's going on?
I can't remember how long I've been sitting here.
You still half asleep?
That's not it. I mean, I was able to get an appointment with Professor Otsuki, but the publishing company never got back to me about Itoi Kukuro, so in the end, I was stuck unable to do anything that entire day, right?
Huh?
Amakusa, you went to go get that large black bag, didn't you? That's right. Just before we left for Nijima, Amakusa and I parted ways just one time. He said something about getting a weapon from an acquaintance of his, and he went to go get that large black bag. Wasn't that today? What am I talking about? I mean, didn't I go to Nijima, meet Captain Kawabata, and inside the bed shop? Huh? What?
Is there something wrong?
Did my confusion and uncertainty make me sigh out loud? Even though Hachijo's back was to me, she slowly turned around and smiled as though she had peered into my heart. No, it's nothing. Strange memories, ones that even I can't understand. I tried to hide my confusion, but for some reason, Hachijo had a strange glint in her eyes, as though she could read my mind.
I have revived and killed your family several times within various forgeries, most like a witch might.
Reviving and killing them whenever you like, endlessly. Sounds almost like Beatrice, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So, please follow the lead of all those people on the web, and consider the possibility that I might be a witch.
She took a thickly packed brown envelope out of a locked drawer. It appeared to be filled to the brim with printer paper. Perhaps this was a manuscript for one of her works. The neat letters written with a fountain pen on the envelope spelled out the word Dawn. There was no forgery by the name of Dawn, which must mean Angie could tell. This was a new one. Hachijo's newest unreleased forgery, Dawn of the Golden Witch.
Wait,
That's this chapter.
that's this chapter?
Yep.
Okay. For one such as I who knows everything is boring. However, I don't dislike letting the ignorant read my works to see what kind of reactions they have. And so I want you to read it.
You want me to read your newest work, which you've created as the new Endless Witch?
Correct, child of man. Whether you resent it or admire it, you can help me forget my illness for a time.
What is the illness, and is it boredom?
I'm very Sherlockian, aren't I?
Let's put an end to this farce, shall we? Who are you? I don't remember ever meeting you like this. Yes, I did try to contact Hachijo Toya, but in the end I never got a chance to meet her. In other words, all of this is a falsehood. Whose piece am I this time? Sorry, but if you think you can tame Ushiromiya Angie so easily, you're making a big mistake.
Yes, I hoped you'd be this interesting.
She finally couldn't hold it back and burst out laughing. Gradually, the space around them seemed to be filled with a strange purple mist. The room itself seemed to twist and bend. Her figure also twisted, and after something that couldn't be described elapsed, her form changed to become just what she had called herself, a witch. Hell yeah! New witch just dropped.
Huh. Splendid! You did well to see through my veil.
It seems I'm the type witches just love to cling to. You all have that same condescending tone towards humans. I figured you were a witch right away. The novelist sitting on the sofa was nowhere to be seen. Even Angie's bodyguard, who was supposed to be around at times like this, was gone.
Oh, well, shit.
There was only a non-human figure relaxing in a large, ornate rocking chair.
I find you truly intriguing, child of man. Your charming nature is the perfect medicine for my boredom.
Fucking called it. How do your sleeves stay up, bitch?
They're tied on with knots. It's the same thing that Reimu does.
Yeah, well, I don't see anything charming about this. Why am I alive? Wasn't I killed in a pretty nasty way for breaking the rule about revealing my name? To be honest, I did doubt that those people would just let me go so easily. What kind of farce will I be forced to go along with this time? I really don't care. I'll just do whatever I can within the bounds of the role they give me, whatever I can to help Oni-chan. Of course, I understand. Even if he wins, he'll never come back to me. Even so, I'll struggle on. I'll make sure Oni-chan comes back to the me of that day.
No need to lose your temper. I'm not asking you to be at peace.
Then why did you summon me here? Don't tell me you want me to read this new story or whatever it is you've written.
That is it exactly, actually. I do not want you to be my peace. I have always been a mere observer, and I have no intention of sticking my neck into their game.
I don't get it. What is it you want from me?
Be an observer for me. An observer of the fragments Beatrice has woven.
An observer? I don't really get it, but no deal. I don't know what you're asking me, but I'm still saying no.
That's reasonable, actually. In the past, I observed the fragments through Battler's eyes. However, now that he has succeeded to the position of Game Master, he is not a suitable observer. I am following this tale with true and earnest intentions. It would be such a waste to observe it through the eyes of Battler as he is now, like reading a detective novel backwards.
Oni-chan is the Game Master? What on earth are you talking about?
You must have no clue what that it's all about. You want to know, don't you? I want to know too. What kind of tale will Battler weave now that he has taken the position of Game Master? Furthermore, I wish to search for the truth Battler reached as part of my own mental journey. My illness affects me gravely. If I do not think, I cannot even keep my heart beating.
So, you want me to read your new picture book aloud to you?
I do love me the Berenstein Bears. Or are they the Berenstain Bears? You might as well interpret it that way. In exchange, you will also be able to take part in your own journey of the mind. I do believe that even you have yet to reach the truth. I think you want to continue on the journey to find that truth.
Did you do Odyssey of the Mind?
I did.
I can't remember what it was. I remember that I did it, but I don't remember what it was.
It was a fucking extracurricular thing for, like, middle school age kids.
I've got a Odyssey of the fucking Mind.
I don't remember what we did in it.
Yeah.
I just remember that it existed.
Anyway, I don't owe you anything.
The 90s, bro. The 90s were fucked up. Do not push your luck. I can be lenient at times, but such cases are rare.
Angie hadn't yet reached the truth either, though she knew that the game was little more than a toy for the amusement of those witches. She wanted it to resume so that she could follow the tale and close in on the king called Truth. I might explore the tale to find the truth for myself, but I have no obligation to read it aloud until the end for your sake. Understand? Angie was willing to read the story aloud, but she could quit at any time if this witch made her mad. She was, in effect, warning the witch not to annoy her.
Of course. You call it a picture book, but to me it is the only medicine for a fatal illness. I cannot take that medicine without you to assist me. In other words, it is a mutually beneficial arrangement.
So, you're telling me to read you a book until you fall asleep, and in exchange, you'll let me read it too. Is that right?
Precisely. If you're willing to accept, I shall ask that you become my reader for a time.
Well, it's nice to get my own title, but all you really want me to do is read books, right?
Becoming my reader means the same thing as becoming my familiar. In other words, what is done against you will be done against me. I will not permit anyone to disrupt my only interest, that being to read the rest Beatrice's tale. I will not let Burncastle, Lambda Delta, or even Beatrice force anything upon you.
This witch, who seemed to have an almost divine quality to her, spoke both quietly and forcefully. There was no threat in her words. However, even so, it was clear that she was on a different level than Burncastle and the other witches, and not at all to be taken lightly. So, you'll offer me protection if I agree to read your book?
Of course. What I want is for you to read aloud to me. I will not spare any attempt to stand in the way of that. If my attitude seems arrogant to you, allow me to apologize, child of man. It may not seem so, but I am speaking to you with the utmost respect.
You could have fooled me. Yeah, probably. Even that witch-like style of speech feels like it's got to be the most respectful thing you've said in the past few hundred years.
When you're reading a book, do you tell it thank you very much before flipping through the pages?
I guess it is like that. I understand. Just by agreeing to have a conversation with Angie, she was showing an incredible amount of respect and willingness to compromise. Angie shrugged, but she also nodded to show her consent. Sure. I'll be your reader. I get that you showed a ton of respect just by asking for my consent first.
You understand well, child of man.
My name's Angie, not child of man or whatever.
I'm pretty sure... Isn't Child of Man like in the British Channel or something? Very well. As proof of my respect for you, I will acknowledge your name.
For her, acknowledging human names was like acknowledging the names of all the leaves scattered across the ground. So, her acknowledging Angie's name was a miracle. No, it was immensely good fortune.
From this point forth, Ushiromiya Angie will serve as reader and Miko to the Witch of Theater going, Featherine Augustus Aurora.
Okay, 1, Witch of Theater going is a pretty kick-ass witch for there to be.
Fuck yeah.
2,
This is the character we were spoiled on a very long time ago.
yes. 3, Angie's a Miko now. Angie is officially a shrine girl now.
Why do you think my outfit looks like Reimu's? Yeah, so this was the one that we mentioned a while back, I think when we were first on When We Cryopod, that we had the existence of one character spoiled for us, but only by name.
Yeah, only the name, and I've seen this character's picture, but I definitely did not know anything about this shit. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're the author of the stories, but also not.
Right.
So-
Right. It's like, yeah, this is what that spoiler was for us.
So I'm glad that the spoiler turned out not to be so spoilery after all. Huh?
I'm coming to realize it's very hard to
Spoil Umineko, yeah.
without just by kind of randomly seeing stuff. Like, it's hard to spoil yourself on Umineko. So I could absolutely say some things that would spoil a good part of Umineko for people now, but you have to do it with intention. You won't. It's hard to accidentally spoil yourself by just poking around. You know. Until you finish reading, I shall bring calamity to all who attempt to hinder your task.
When the Witch of Theater going, Featherine, spoke this, Angie was wrapped in a bright light. Angie didn't feel any particular change herself, but she definitely had been given something that only non-humans could sense. It signified that from this point forward, Angie would be the Witch of Theater going subject.
If we don't get a Miko Angie outfit, we riot.
Oh yeah. If this exists and isn't a spoiler,
Go ahead and drop it in the
tell
Discord
us.
for us.
that didn't mean that Angie would gain some sort of special power, but at the very least, it probably meant that anyone wanting to cause her harm would first have to take on Featherine herself.
Maybe she'd get the demon sword Samadare.
Okay, but concept.
Yep.
Umineko, witches and demons, bullet hell.
Why doesn't? Someone has. I think someone has mentioned a Toho mod that made some of the characters that that made some of the characters Umineko characters. That would absolutely fit.
I feel like it'd work really well.
It would work very well. They have that same kind of quality.
Give Featherine here flying book attacks and so on.
Oh, she's Pacha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Your name is pretty long. Sounds like some Roman person from the history books. What should I call you?
Those not familiar with me call me Augustus Aurora.
After all the respect you've shown me, it's only fitting that I respond in kind. I'll call you Featherine. Any problems?
None at all. For an ailing witch such as myself, even being called by my first name will be an experience to be treasured and pondered over, child of man.
I have a name. It's Angie.
Even considerations like this are pleasant every once in a conversations like this are pleasant every once in a while. Angie, my Miko.
Angie accepted her role. She would observe this story with the Witch of Theater going. The curtain was rising on the 6th tale.
By the way, part of that is also that you must attend to the popcorn machine. It's in the balcony over there.
Ah!
You should have read the fine print. 2 squirts of theater butter, please. Oh, yeah. We're back in it, baby.
Yeah, huh?
Oh, I can't wait to do more of this. I hope you're all excited for episode 6 of Umineko, because I know we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple things we did while we were in a recording break here. I did do some fiddling with our number from earlier.
Me too.
Yeah. So a couple of things I found out. One of the things I got held up on when we were talking earlier was the fact that the number had a leading 0 in it, right? I thought like, hey, maybe that means it could actually have reversed, and maybe one of the Ushiromias has a character that means like reversed in their name or something like that. But I did some quick maths on the number reversed, which would be 92115170. And that didn't wind up anything. It doesn't factor nicely. It's not in the OEIS anywhere. So I think that's a dead end.
I, on the other hand, grabbed on to the reading the kanji of the name as numbers thing and was like, oh, can we read this number as kanji and have it point us to something interesting? And no, I couldn't. I spent like 15 minutes sitting there with the Japanese numeral system Wikipedia article open, trying to shuffle around these characters and make them mean anything with no luck. And then I also thought, well, maybe this has to do with something like the characters in Ushiromiya's names or something. Like how Maria has that creepy cool cross in her name, but also the numeral for 10 is a cross, but a different one. Mm-hmm. And that didn't get me anything either, so I got nothing.
Yeah.
It feels like they're putting it right out there for us.
It really does. I still think I'm still leaning back on my old theory for that number now, where it is somehow tied into the ordering system of the Ushiromiyas themselves. But that is for another time. In the meantime, I thought we'd start this by looking at all this stuff. Kinzo doesn't even get a thing anymore. The aged head of the Ushiromiya family, he is already dead, but thanks to Kraus and Natsuhi's closed room illusion, it is being made to look as though he is alive. Therefore, there is no longer any need to include him in the number of people on the island. Without him, the number of people goes from 18 to 17. However, after welcoming the guest known as Erica, the number returns to 18. Erica, who is not currently on the page yet, by the way. And then we have our witches and everyone. I love how all the, they're all not unimportant enough to get their own pages anymore. And there's Erica.
The Witch of Truth name subject to change.
The Witch of Truth.
Yes, it's a temporary name.
You notice, however, there is also another button here.
What? Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. So, Featherine Augustus Aurora. The majestic witch of theater going, drama, and spectating. I am tired of life after 1,000 years and constantly repeat a cycle of life and death. In the past, I had served as the master for several games as a legendary witch, but my legend, glory, and memory have already disappeared into the past and have been forgotten. Only the solemn medal I wear on my chest contains those memories. The horseshoe-shaped object floating around my head is a memory aid device. It records my name, appearance, and other aspects of my personality. I am so old that I would not be able to preserve my own individuality without this. Also, I put my cane on my dress because I like to trip.
Can we see the new sprites on this screen? Is that what Tenu does at the top?
It is.
That's fine.
At least her cane isn't on her dress anymore. Okay, that's the only time where I've been like, that's egregious. Come on now. Amakusa looks fine, I guess.
I like how he's got pants inside his pants that match the shirt inside his shirt.
The same? Yeah. Why?
He's wearing a striped gray and black jumpsuit onesie.
But he's not. This is like, it's got the collar. This is a dress shirt.
It's a onesie.
Oh God, Amakusa, what have you done, my dude?
A formal onesie, a formal gothic striped onesie.
God. And there's Angie.
Is this different? This is different. I'm the final descendant of the Ushiromiya family, 12 years in the future. During my journey to reach Rokkenjima while evading pursuers from the Sumadera family, I became overwhelmed by a world of an impossible memory. I reached several truths in the previous games and possessed the power to act as an observer. It seems that witches who hope for the worst for me are great in number, as are those who wish to become my master.
Hey, I'm Amakusa Juza. I'm a former guard of Ava's. I'm fundamentally a thrill seeker, willing to take on dangerous jobs for very little pay. Hey, at one point I did work as a guard for Angie, but after repeatedly violating Ava's strict orders not to speak to her, Ava grew to dislike me and fired me. Angie seemed not to mind having me around as I would often chat with her, though. Me, this man, not the Guilty Gear one, but me, who has traveled between the Japan Self-Defense Force, the Foreign Legion, and non-government military companies, has skill in counter-sniping and protecting VIPs. Righteous.
Righteous.
All right. I thought it was important to start off with those. Do we have any tips yet? No, we don't. Oh, wait, hold on. There's Battler.
Yep.
The Endless Sorcerer, the final Game Master. Did we read this last time?
I think we did.
We probably did.
Right
I
at
won't
the beginning?
reread it for you now. You can read it on the screen if you really feel so inclined. Do I lose the silly voice when I become the Game Master?
Hell no.
Hell no. Get the fuck out with that.
Now that Battler's Game Master, everyone gets the silly voice.
Oh, it's like a zombie infection. First you, then you. At one time, only Beato and her fellow witches had gathered in the smoking room to chat. Now, however, an unusually large number of people were present.
I wonder what kind of game Battler's gonna show us.
I don't care what it is, as long as it's fun enough to relieve me of my boredom as I crush it.
Leave everything to me, my master. I will perform to my fullest and give you the results you desire.
Yeah, you'd better. I kept making strange faces all last game thanks to you. I hope I don't
Start getting wrinkles from all of that strange face and voice stuff. Whenever I make a strange face, I make a strange voice.
You see, it just doesn't stop.
There's no need to worry. The beauty of my master's face is without peer, no matter how wrinkly it may get. Oh, fuck!
It's rare to see Burn in such high spirits. Beato's game board really is something else.
How sad it is that the master of this game board is no longer with us.
A tiger dies and leaves behind its hide. Looks like Beato died and left behind her game.
Even though chess still exists, no one knows the name of the person who invented it.
Sure we do. It was John Chess.
John Chessman?
Oh, you're right. Poor game inventors.
Come to think of it, Battler's not really has kept us waiting, hasn't he? Is he still setting up the 6th game?
Well, I found the Risk board. How would people feel about Settlers of Catan? This is really a lot more pressure than I thought it would be.
Gertrude, how have Lord Battler's preparations progressed? I know that the battler that's capitalized in this one actually means he's a witch and isn't actually her doing the death thing. But you know what? You know what? I don't care. I just want to let you know that I know. You don't have to tell me in the comment section. But I'm going to keep doing it anyway.
Please allow me to speak. Know that he will be finished very soon.
If he's kept us waiting this long, he must be pretty confident in his plan. He really humiliated me in front of my master last time. I'll defeat him no matter what it takes. And you in particular. Make sure you don't screw up again.
I will meet the challenge with all of my strength.
The previous game master, Lambda Delta, had confirmed that Battler understood everything about Beato's game. However, in order to prove it, Battler would have to run this game by himself and carry it through to completion. Fucking called it. Battler gonna have to do the murders on his own. Yeah. In other words, if Erica could crush this game of Battler, she would, in effect, wipe away the dishonor of that last game. Though Erica was chomping at the bit to get started, it was taking Battler quite some time to show himself.
Turns out getting a cape on is really freaking hard. Like, have any of you tried wearing a cape before? It's weird. You don't realize how strange it is until you start trying to do it. At that time, a swarm of gold butterflies popped into existence and took human form. From the shape of that familiar dress, everyone immediately recognized who it was. It's me, fuckers! It's not me.
Look, it's Beatrice-san. And here I thought you died and disappeared last time.
It didn't stick.
The one who died last time was Beatrice the player. This is probably just a piece. Battler's piece. Even if she is a piece, it does not change the fact that it is her. Beatrice gave an elegant curtsy as she appeared. This humble entrance was so vastly different from her usual high-pitched laugh that it made the long-awaited start of the 6th game feel even more ominous than it otherwise would have.
Father will be here very soon. I ask that you wait for just a short while longer.
What? If she's calling Battler...
Daddy will be here very soon.
If she's calling Battler father, then I have some questions for all the people doing fan art. I've got some questions for you.
Aha. Father? The heck? Is that the new spin this time?
Not only had Beato started talking in an unusually polite manner, she'd also used the word father, presumably referring to Battler. For an instant, everyone was stunned into silence, but they quickly realized that this was setting up some kind of theme, and they grinned. Beato wasn't the type who could keep this kind of act for long. It would probably fall apart in a few seconds, leaving her cackling rudely at everyone. Erica, who was itching for a fight, went for Beato almost at once.
I can't believe that an incompetent battler-san reached the truth of your game.
I'm sure Father understands it quite deeply. He really is good at that sort of thing.
Still, you're pretty lucky. If Battler hadn't become the game master, you wouldn't have been revived again. You really got the luck of the devil, don't you?
The luck of the devil?
Do we like her rat laugh, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, either way, I'm gonna pay you back in full for last time. You're just one of Battler's delusions, so I'll erase every part of you and knock you down into the abyss of oblivion.
I, too, cannot allow you such an easy victory. I look forward to having a good, clean fight. Yeah?
The fuck? Speedo sucks. Why won't she get mad at me? Why do I need it that her to be... I don't have time to deal with that.
By this point, everyone realized that something weird was going on. There was no doubt that the face, the dress, and the hair were all Beatrice's. However, her expression was different. Even though she had Beato's face, Beato would never show anyone an expression like that.
Who are you?
There was a heavy silence. Lambda Delta spoke for everyone there. At first, Beato had worn a smiling yet blank expression. However, when she realized that the mood had gone suddenly stiff, her expression finally darkened, and she hung her head.
Who are you?
You appear to be Lady Beatrice, but you are not. Even Delanor was forced to ask, despite the rudeness of the question. That was how much this woman who appeared to be Beato was not.
Am I somehow different from the Beatrice everyone was expecting?
I mean, this kind of also reinforced the fact that there are multiple people who take the name Beatrice for different reasons at different times, right? There might be an original Beatrice, but I don't think the answer to who is Beatrice is going to be like one person.
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait a second. Don't tell me you have amnesia or something.
I was only born recently, so I have no memories at all. However, I will study hard in order to become the Beatrice you all expect.
Beato, I thought I told you to stay in your room. Battler's voice came out of nowhere. His tone was very slightly cold. Beato's expression looked like that of a young girl being scolded. Sup, fuckers. With a swirl of gold butterflies, Battler appeared. His dignified bearing and appearance were fitting for the ruler of this game. However, his expression was gloomy, and his gaze was directed at Beato. Go back to your room. You weren't supposed to be here.
I just wanted to help you however I could, Father.
Go to your room. He spoke both softly and forcefully. Battler didn't leave her any room for debate. Beato hung her head and curtsied as she prepared to leave the room. Also,
Yes? What is it, Father?
my name is Battler. Never call me by a different name again.
Yes.
Beato melted into a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. This was the first part of the tale with Battler as the game master. The witches had all assumed that he'd come forward with some flashy big developments, so this was all completely unexpected to them. Their mouths were still hanging open. And this is a pretty weird take on it, actually. Not gonna lie. Pardon me. Please forget what you saw just now.
You're playing dumb, but this is all just part of your plan, isn't it? You're scheming to give us the wrong impression, like another North Wind in the Sun strategy, aren't you?
Is there something wrong? Don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with you, people.
I see. Guess it doesn't matter then. Okay, Battler. Start up the new game right away. You've kept us waiting so long, it's gotten totally boring.
Sure, let us start the 6th game. Erica, and you too, Berncastle. This will be my tale, proof that I've reached Beatrice's truth. Lambda Delta, please watch this game until the end, as a former game master.
Sure, looking forward to it. What's the title?
Dawn. As in, the dawn of the Golden Witch. Sure. We're talking about a winter sun that goes below the horizon right away.
Of course, my master. I'll drag it back down for you. At least your naming sense is good, Battler-san. I'll give you that much.
I'm glad that you like it. Then, let's get started. The 6th game will now begin. Roll the opening... Oh, we did that already? Fuck. Okay, sorry, I'm still new at this. Battler solemnly announced the start of the game. Compared to his fired-up attitude at the end of the previous game, where he and Erica had sworn to settle everything next time, he was extremely quiet now. Angie. Beato seems to have changed a lot since we last saw her.
I'm surprised too. I don't have a clue what's going on. I don't even get why Beato's alive in the first place. I just finished reading it a second ago, but at the end of the previous tale, didn't she die just before Battler reached the truth?
There are two kinds of death in this world. One of them is a piece taken from the game board. Such a death exists only within the bounds of the game, and these lives can revive over and over again. Each time a new game begins.
That's why the witches are so merciless when it comes to taking those lives.
To the witch players, the lives of those characters who appear on the game board are no different from pieces on a chessboard that take other pieces and get taken. Oh wait, actually this is back in Angie room. Should you be doing the
Sure. To the witch players, the lives of those characters who appear on the game board are no different from pieces on a chessboard that take other pieces and get taken. After all, these pieces will be set up again when the next game starts.
Maria Sakutaro is a prime example of these.
Sakutaro is One-chan's piece? Yes, that makes sense. In the game board that represents the inside of One-chan's head, Sakutaro certainly does exist. Hold up a sec, the game board that represents the inside of One-chan's head. That's never a way we've heard a game board described,
No,
huh?
it's not. It's not at all ever a way we've heard a game board described.
Hey guys, it's me, Sakutaro. Was this my voice? I feel like this was really close to it.
Yeah.
I'm committing tax fraud.
And Sakutaro certainly does exist, and is a piece that always stays by her side. Though he's nothing more than a stuffed animal in the real world, on One-chan's game board, he's no less of a piece than any other. But I wonder, if he were a piece in a witch's game, it should be possible to revive him easily, right? But One-chan wasn't able to revive Sakutaro in her world.
That is because she lost that completely unique stuffed animal that was his vessel. Because of this, the conditions for that piece's existence were violated, and it became impossible to revive him on Maria's game board. The only reason you were able to revive Sakutaro on the game board was because you once again satisfied the conditions for his existence. Correct?
You called it.
Yeah, sorry. I know we had figured this one out a long time ago, but still. This was one of the first hard reads I actually got correct in this game, and I'm really happy with it.
True.
Maria One-chan was only unable to revive him because she had lost the stuffed animal that was his vessel. If, like the rest of my family on Beato's game board, she hadn't needed a vessel for him, she would have been able to revive him as often as she wanted.
I get it. It makes sense that Sakutaro was One-chan's piece. At least as long as his vessel was okay, he could have been revived over and over again.
That is correct. As long as his vessel is safe, he can be revived over and over again. That is the life. That is what the life of a piece is like.
That's the first kind of death in this world. What's the second?
That's the death of beings outside the game board. To continue with the Sakutaro example, this would be like Maria's death.
You mean not her death as a piece, but the death of the real One-chan, right?
Not necessarily. Loss of interest or concern would have the same effect. When Maria outgrows playing with stuffed animals, Maria the game player will die. It's as quick and easy as turning off the switch on a TV when you get bored of it.
Interesting.
If you get tired of playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I see. In that case, Beato the player completely gave up on winning during the last game, so she died and vanished. Which means if Beato ever comes back, thinking she's got a chance of defeating Oni-chan, that'll mean she's come back to life, right?
Logically, that is true. It is the same for humans, witches, and even gods. If they lose interest and concern, they can die at any time. And if they regain that interest, they can revive at any time. However, though the concept of time does not exist in the world of gods, and they can revive whenever they want, time shoots by like an arrow in the human world, and it isn't so easy there.
That's true. Skipping school for one day might not be a problem, but if you skip school for 3 days in a row, it'd be really hard to convince yourself to go back.
And what if that's stretched out for a month, a year, a decade, or 1,000 years, like in the world of witches?
I see. If you skipped class for that long, it'd mean your death socially. After being dead that long, not only would you be unable to catch up on all you missed in the world at large, you'd also lose any motivation you might have had when you left. So even though you'd be alive, it'd be fair to say that you died once. You would never again be able to regain the self that you once were.
Yeah, okay.
It would never come back to life.
Beato lost any chance or hope of winning. Even though she knew this, she pretended not to, and kept on fighting for many, many games. So Beato will not return. Her hopes were crushed. She spent all of the willpower that she might have used to regain the will to fight. Therefore, that Beatrice will never revive again.
That Beato, who just sat around the whole time with empty eyes in the 5th game, must have been her corpse. She managed to remain on the game board despite it all, but even that corpse was wiped away.
So Battler's trying to make a new Beato. Oh, fuck, dude.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Oh, bro. I'm so sorry, dude.
If Beato had been the game master at that time instead of Lambda Delta, the game board itself would have vanished at that moment, and everything would have ended. Come to think of it, Beato started to lose the will to fight back near the end of the 4th game. When Beato loses her will to fight, the world of this game disappears. However, the witches wanted to keep playing in this game board world. So Lambda Delta bound Beato in place with that cursed shackle. She used that shackle to fix the game board in place and prevent it from disappearing, even if Beato did lose the will to fight. In chess, this would be the equivalent of removing the set time limit for each turn, making it endless. However, simply having the game endlessly paused on Beato's turn would cause the witches to die from their illness of boredom. That's why Lambda Delta took the position of Game Master. Starting then, Beato's existence was no longer one of the conditions necessary for the game's existence. That's probably why the shackles binding her to the game board were released. And that explains why she disappeared in the 5th game. I understand completely, doesn't understand. So, when Oni-chan managed to reach the truth, it was one game too late for him to tell Beato about it.
The 5th game was a form of charity on Lambda Delta's part. She merely showed Battler some mercy as the Witch of Certainty, acknowledging his strong desire to reach the truth no matter what.
How can you call that charity? It's just those fickle witches killing time. Let's get back to the point. So that means this weird Beato isn't the player Beato, she's just a piece Beato.
True. If that is the case, she should eventually become the Beato everyone knows. I imagine that is the Beato that Battler wants.
You mean he wasn't satisfied with just a doll? When playing with dolls, one can project the personality they most desire onto the doll. However, since you're acting out their part, nothing unexpected can ever happen. You cannot hope for any unanticipated happiness. In the human world, there's nothing so boring as a pre-established harmony. Take that, Leibniz. Was that Leibniz? No, or was that Malebranche? Or who was the pre-established harmony guy?
I do not know off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
God, that's gonna bug me. That's gonna fucking bug me. Sound off in the comments. Anyway, that's why, though a doll can become a person's best friend in the world, people eventually get bored and outgrow them. Oni-chan only wants the real Beato. He couldn't bear having a doll that only acted like Beato. A Beato born as Battler's piece would probably move according to Battler's wishes. That's only natural for a piece. Pieces move however their players tell them to. And they can't do anything else. I see what it is Oni-chan wants, so what's up with this weird Beato?
Battler might be trying to revive Beato in the truest sense. That is the never-dying dream held by children of man.
You just used the red to say that wasn't possible.
That Beato will never revive. However, that doesn't mean that it is impossible for Beato to be born again. Have you forgotten? I believe that Berncastle herself revealed Beato's true form at the end of the 1st game.
Now I remember. She said something about how Beato exists as the incarnation of a rule.
Information began to be accumulated based around that rule, and in the end, it took the form of the witch known as Beatrice. If that pattern is followed once more, the same Beatrice will be born again, and perhaps one could call that a resurrection.
In other words, that weird Beato is an egg. Stares directly at camera. Or maybe a chick.
That interpretation is probably accurate. In short, this Beato is a chick who might grow to become that Beato.
Oh fuck, Oni-chan's gonna incubate her.
Why do you say that word as if it was rude? As if it was some kind of scandalous word?
And that means this pure and lovable kid will eventually grow into that screwed up, crazy witch. In other words, that Beato is a baby version of the Beato we all know. So just like how no person is born evil, the newborn Beato isn't evil either. Take that, Calvinists. Even though she really is a different person, if you measure her by her root, or perhaps her soul, I'm getting real mixed metaphors, so she's an egg that has roots.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Then maybe you really could call this a resurrection.
That's just how people work, honey.
However, this reality can't possibly be easy to accept, though she may technically be Beato herself. She is also, without a doubt, a different person. And that way she acts would make anyone feel as though something's out of place.
How entertaining. Hearing you read aloud is far from boring.
I doubt you really even need someone to read aloud for you. It looks like you already know
You
everything.
could put on the Miko outfit whenever you wanted, Angie. I only reached that thought because I am engaged in a conversation with you. My thoughts are more numerous than the stars in the sky. I only appear to know everything to a child of man like you. However, without you here, I am nothing but a weak, sickly person, without even the power to think.
If you just said that in the first place, I would have agreed to read for you a lot more easily.
My mood just happened to improve. Don't get an overswelled impression of yourself. Your life means less to me than a leaf one has lost after using it as a bookmark.
Please keep reading already. Is that pretty much what you're trying to say?
Far from boring. You really do make for an excellent Miko.
Featherine rocked back in her rocking chair and looked up at the ceiling, laughing as though the conversation itself was pleasant for her. Angie was slowly figuring out how to deal with this strange witch. This person was also bored. It's not uncommon for a sick person who's bored from being bedridden for a long time to start acting rebellious. On the other hand, they can also get a little bored of being treated kindly all the time. She may want to be shown respect for her superiority, but it's probably more interesting for her when she's spoken to rudely. What a coincidence. That's exactly how I used to be. Anyway, from what we learned in the fourth game, there's no doubt that there's been some kind of antagonism between Beato and Oni-chan in the past. Learning about this Beato might give us a key to finding the truth.
It does seem so. It has caught my interest as well. Let us read her tale, too.
Oh, sure, as you wish, my master.
When Angie raised her hands...
When Angie raised her hands like a conductor, the bookshelves in this bizarre study responded. Once again, several books floated out and began to swirl around Angie. Hell yeah.
Hell fucking yeah.
Book witch, book witch, book witch.
Book witch. Well, book Miko. But... So, is this the tale of the Beatrice from that time ago, then?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that...
Am I still reading? I don't know.
I'll go. If
Okay.
this is... Kinzo's study is the room belonging to the master in the human world. So this study in the world of non-humans belonged to the master of the game board and was a place where he could look down upon the humans. Therefore, one could hardly be blamed for mistaking the imposing, be-robed man in the center of the study for Kinzo, if only for a second. But it wasn't Kinzo. This was Battler, one who had taken up the position of Game Master, becoming the new territory lord of this world.
Ew, why does absinthe smell like that?
Around Battler was a swirl of glowing fragments, sparkling like the night sky. And on the floor was what appeared to be a red magic circle. To an outsider, it would seem to be nothing more than an incomprehensible geometric shape. But to Battler, who stood at its center, it was the outline for a new tale. A new line grew across the magic circle following Battler's gaze, and then at the instant it connected with a complicated symbol, the entire magic circle flashed brightly.
Is this a new track, too?
This is.
It's pretty cool.
I fucking love this.
So, how does it look?
It is splendid, Master. The 6th game is complete.
What the fuck?
As Battler wiped his forehead and finally relaxed, Genji, who was standing behind him and watching over his every move, nodded deeply in response.
I always thought being a game master meant you could make the tale however you want, but this is seriously harder than I thought it would be.
You must write up multiple tales and make the inner and outer sides of the story match. Though truly you have displayed such skill, it is hard to believe that this is your first time. I believe even Erika-sama will be satisfied with this game.
Well, hopefully it matches that great detective's tastes. Still, I gotta honestly respect Beato now. I can hardly believe that she managed to make tales that complicated and do it so easily.
Easily. Far from it. Beatrice-sama also worried, racking her brain over various contradictions each time she created a tale. She was constantly battling with logical errors.
Logic errors?
That is when the two sides of the tale do not meet, creating a contradiction.
A contradiction? Objection!
Are we really doing this still? Fine.
It's time for the turnabout.
Okay, well, if you need me, I'll be explaining this over here then. When this happens...
Phoenix Wright drifts in between fragments for a second.
No, Nick, we're on the wrong game board. Come on, we can't be here.
When this happens, it becomes a fatal violation of the rules known as a logic error, and the game board will immediately collapse and be destroyed. It is the greatest and worst form of error that the witch side can make, and one which must always be avoided.
So Beato got close to bumping into those many times in her games, huh?
She fought with them every time she created a game. I believe it grew even more difficult for her as you became a more formidable opponent.
So, do you think this game I've made is good enough to show her?
Yes. Of course.
Beato hasn't woken up yet, has she? It's been a while since her body was formed as a personification of the rules. Is she still not awake?
To remaining silent for a while longer, Genji answered. She woke up 3 days ago. You were concentrating on the construction of the 6th game, so I decided to wait before telling you. My sincere apologies.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll bet she's still all drowsy after sleeping for so long. Really wanted to show her my game. No, it's more than that. I had to show her. I need to tell her that I've understood everything.
Battler's face broke into a smile. There was no trace in his expression of the hatred he had once felt towards Beato for murdering his family.
In a way, that was the final riddle of the 5th game.
Yes. When Battler reached the truth, there was a great change in his impression of Beato.
So should we assume there really was something between Oni-chan and Beato? And that he forgot all about it?
However, Battler suspected this in the 4th game and asked Beato about it. According to the tale, this was denied by the Red Truth. 6 years ago, no person called Beatrice existed for Battler. We can read this as saying Beato did not exist 6 years ago, or it could simply mean that she had no connection to Battler at that time. However, either way, Battler did not visit Rokkenjima at all for the next 6 years.
October 4th, 1986 should have been the first time Beatrice and Oni-chan met. If so, why was there already some kind of antagonism between them? I don't have a clue what it means.
That sin of Ushiromiya Battlers, which Beato took Battler to task for in the 4th game, might give us a clue. The result of that might have been Beatrice herself.
The result? The result of Oni-chan's sin was Beato? That almost sounds as though Oni-chan created the witch called Beatrice himself.
Almost as though Beatrice was Battler's piece.
Huh?
Battler sinned 6 years ago. Because of that sin, people died. The one doing the killing was Beatrice. If you consider the possibility that everything is connected to Battler's sin 6 years ago, then the one who created Beatrice was Battler himself. I thought it sounded almost as though she was Battler's peak.
I don't get it. Even if Oni-chan sinned in some way, his crime couldn't have been anything close to murder. If this huge massacre is in retaliation for what he did, then it's totally out of proportion. Beato killed our family. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan, everyone. I can't believe that Oni-chan's sin was anything deserving of that.
Or she's saying that just the conditions of what Battler's sin was 6 years ago, or what gave rise to Beato, which then in turn gave rise to this reprisal.
Perhaps.
Which had then kind of grown outside of what it had, of its initial conditions. The weight of a sin depends on the person measuring it. Even a sin so light that Battler might have forgotten could have been so serious to Beato that she hated him enough to massacre his whole family a full 6 years after the fact. Well, even I find that a bit excessive, and more importantly, if she were a person like that, I would find it hard to accept that Battler would act so friendly towards her after discovering the truth.
So it makes perfect sense if it's the "I'll come back for you" on a white horse, which is just a throwaway phrase to Battler, but something that Shannon remembers so clearly that it's word for word years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Battler didn't know how fucked up Shannon's situation was. So to Shannon, it's like, oh, this is a promise. I'm going to be saved from this hell.
Right. And then
that this
he
family
just
is putting me through.
doesn't come back.
And for Battler, it's Tuesday.
Exactly. This fits perfectly with what we've been talking about for what that sin could have been. I also like how we've hard decided that it's definitely Shannon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like definitely. But
Featherine's observation was an interesting one. In a past game, Beato clearly said that Oni-chan's sin 6 years ago was the cause of this 2-day tragedy. I still don't know what kind of sin that was. However, he figured out what it was at the end of the 5th game, and he even apologized to Beato. Even though she was the witch who had massacred his entire family in retaliation for his sin of 6 years previous, Battler apologized to her. Of course, it was the player Battler who apologized, not the peace Battler whose family had been murdered over and over again. But even so, Battler must have remembered something at the end of the last game that made him feel like apologizing. Does that mean this sin from 6 years ago is hidden somewhere in the tales we've seen so far?
I have already formed a certain theory on that matter.
Oh? Let's hear it.
I cannot tell you just yet. I want to enjoy being the only one who knows the answer for a little while longer.
Well then, I guess I'm done reading for you.
Well, we can't have that now, can we? Have some patience and read a bit further. My theory is still nothing more than a guess after all. Once I'm certain of it, I will tell you.
Okay, my master. I actually do want to hear what comes next after all. Just what kind of connection do Oni-chan and Beatrice have with each other? Understanding that will probably give me a massive clue toward finding the truth of this world. A raging clue, even.
Oh, come on.
After all, because he remembered that.
We're above Family Guy references on this channel, aren't we?
Is that what that is?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
God damn it. He was able to reach the truth.
Have I already named an episode Reach Out to the Truth yet?
God, I hope we haven't, so that we can use that for this one.
Yeah, that's what absolutely this one's calling. Beatrice! This is Kuwadorian.
Welcome, Master. Beatrice-sama is waiting for you.
Remember when I said Kumasawa in Kuwadorian?
Yeah, what about it?
It seems like what's happening here.
I don't know what you mean.
Let me see how the scene plays out, and then we'll.
This way, please.
This place was a villa set aside for Beatrice's use. It was a sacred site for her only, built so that she could spend her days without being affected by the outside world. My heart began to race. I'm so glad that she was able to revive and that everything is okay. Beato is a personification of the rules. So even though she was destroyed once, it's possible for her to be reborn again. Battler quickly succeeded in reviving Beato's body, but he had trouble summoning her soul back. Oh, I misunderstood what this was. So this is Battler in the metaverse trying to... So then why does he imagine specifically... So there's got to be some reason that he's specifically imagining the place Beato revives at as Kuwadorian, with Kumasawa taking care of the place.
It makes sense given that we've seen the young Beatrice raised by Virgilia, then Beatrice in Kuwadorian, and so on.
Yep.
So I don't find it strange. It just seems like Battler's like, yeah, that this is in some way what happened and what should happen.
However, during the time he'd spent immersed in the creation of the 6th game, she had woken up. And this had happened 3 days ago. Battler let himself be led into the dining hall. The dining hall had been set up for his and Beato's use. It existed so that they could enjoy some black tea while having conversations that were only possible now that he had reached all of the truth. Although, something kind of bothers me about this still.
Yeah?
Because our guess was that that Kinzo had been using Kuwadorian to raise a Beatrice completely sequestered from the outside world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredibly unhealthy and terrible to do to someone.
Yeah?
And Battler, who has now reached the entire truth, is just doing the same thing.
I wonder if that's going to be part of the theme of what we're about to read.
Yeah, probably. Still bothersome, right? I want to tell her. I want to tell Beato that I found the truth. Battler couldn't hold back his excitement over this miracle he'd been granted. The miracle of Beato waiting for him in the dining hall to hear what he had to say. How is Beatrice? Same as usual? Is she doing well?
Yes, she's doing quite well. She's been waiting for you all this time, Master. Oh, yes. Oh.
So she's in the dining hall. Is she eating or something? It's okay. It doesn't matter either way.
You'll be surprised.
Beatrice! When he swung open the doors to the dining hall, Battler was greeted by a wonderful sight. Though the food laid out on the table wasn't particularly sensational, it was arranged beautifully and a champagne bottle stood there, waiting. Then the person clad in that familiar dress with the beautiful golden hair bowed deeply in greeting. Beatrice?
You have my sincerest gratitude for giving me this form.
Come on. Don't worry about that. I'm so glad. Beato. Battler rushed up to Beato and hugged her tightly, just to make sure her body wasn't just mist or an illusion. I solved your riddle for you, but then before I could tell you about it, you went and disappeared.
I'm right here. I will not disappear.
It's okay. You can stop talking like that. I'm not going to ask you for anything in return, and I just want to apologize. And I want to talk with you. I don't even know where I should start.
You have done nothing that you need to apologize for, Father. I'm glad just to be of service to you.
Beato?
Beatrice was born for your sake, Father. Please, let me support you. And Father, congratulations on completing the 6th game.
I told you, stop talking like that. You're creeping me out.
Do you find this style of speech displeasing? Please forgive my rudeness.
Well, I don't find it displeasing, but it's not like you. I guess I like the way you usually talk best. Beato smiled vaguely. To Battler, it probably looked as though they were both smiling at the unusual way she was talking. However, Beato's smile was literally was vague and uncertain. After all, she didn't know how she was supposed to talk. Anyway, Beato, just what kind of joke is this? Don't tell me the great Beatrice Saba decided to cook for me.
When I heard that you had completed the 6th game, I wanted to see if I could prepare a modest reward to congratulate you.
Beatrice Summer really worked hard to make this. I didn't even need to lend a hand at all. No, I didn't.
The food set on the table really was modest and expertly made. You could tell by looking at it that Beatu, who wasn't particularly skilled with cooking, had given it her all. However, signs of discomfort and irritation were beginning to appear on Battler's face.
What is going on here?
Well, as she said, Beatrice, Sama wishes to congratulate you.
Sweat was starting to show up on Kumasawa's forehead. She was also feeling uneasy. When he noticed, Battler realized that it wasn't just his imagination. Beato turned her back to Battler and stuck a corkscrew into the champagne bottle. Then she showed it to Battler.
Father, congratulations on the completion of the 6th game, in the hopes that you will prove victorious over your longtime rival, Furudo Erika.
When presented with a champagne bottle and a sound like that, anyone would think the cork had been pulled out. However, it wasn't the cork, it was the bottom of the bottle. The high-quality champagne that Beato had procured splashed out all over the floor in her dress. And then the same sound repeated several more times. Each time one of the plates of food on the table was knocked into the air.
Father, did you find the food displeasing?
Who are you?
I'm Beatrice. I was born for your sake, Father.
And the thing is, this does kind of match what might have happened with Kinzo when he was trying to create a new vessel for Beatrice.
Yep.
And upon getting his wishes, discovering that he couldn't bring back the woman that he knew and loved from so long ago.
Yep.
Battler, my dude. That's not right.
Huh?
Who is this? This isn't Beato. Anyway, don't call me father. What is going on here? What is this? Didn't I revive Beatrice? Genji, what is this all about? My apologies, but that is indeed Beatrice-sama. Are you kidding me? How is this supposed to be Beato? She's totally wrong. She's a fake. No, this is Beatrice-sama. This is, without a doubt, Beatrice-sama, who was born in accordance with the rules of the game board. No, this isn't anything like Beato. Beato would always talk in that weird way and laugh rudely and... No, this is most certainly Beatrice-sama herself. Then why is she talking like that? Why is she calling me father?
Beatrice-sama was only born a short while ago. It would be far too cruel to expect her to act as she once did so soon.
You're saying that her memory hasn't returned yet? Master, this person truly is Beatrice-sama herself. However, she is not the Beatrice-sama that you know so well. What are you talking about? The Game Master, right? Why can't I revive Beato?
Beatrice-sama has survived. However, the old Beatrice-sama lived for 1,000 years. This Beatrice-sama, on the other hand, was only born a short while ago. She appears to be a different person. It just can't be helped.
Then how can I revive that, Beato? Her body is right here. How can I revive her soul? If she lives the same 1,000-year life again, she should become the same Beatrice-sama she was before. Are you telling me to wait 1,000 years?
A person's personality isn't decided solely by the date of their birth. It can change drastically based on how they live and what they experience.
God damn it, I wanted a witch who would neg me and murder my family members.
Yeah. It's hard. He's wearing the cape now, too. It's hard not to see this. And he's explicitly compared to Kinzo.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to see that as what Kinzo might have done to him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Even though she is the same Beato, she is not the same.
I get it. Even if you had two of the exact same person, they could change enormously depending on their upbringing.
Even though they might both be the same human to start with, their upbringing could change them so much that they effectively become two completely different people. Usually we use the term person to refer to a person and not their personality. However, since humans recognize a person by their personality, those two might as well be different people from a human perspective.
That's so true.
So true, bestie.
Yeah, oh yeah, bestie. right on. What, you don't like Mzaki? That tragedy 12 years ago hadn't happened. This little lady of ours might be a cute girl who would smile without looking weird.
That's rude.
I'm a rude person. You knew this.
I'm plenty cute as it is. Look at my cute face.
Yeah.
I understand. If a personality is what makes a person in our eyes, you could probably say that a second personality represents a different person entirely, even if it inhabits the same flesh body.
Yep, and this was some of the stuff we were coming to as well.
At the very least.
In like when we were talking about how some of the servants might have been primed to like believe that they might become Beatrice under certain conditions, right?
Yeah. I'm a completely different person than I used to be 12 years ago. And if my family had come home 12 years ago, then the Angie that resulted would surely be a completely different person from me. Even a single human can become a different person. In fact, depending on their upbringing and endless possibilities, they can become an endless number of different people. So, just because this is Beato, that's no guarantee that she'll become the Beato that Oni-chan knows so well. And on top of that, Beatrice is a witch who lived 1,000 years. People can die and be reborn in just 3 days. 1,000 years is such a huge amount of time.
Oh, that's a reference to the big JC, isn't it? Is he appearing in this game too?
I would not put it past a Ryukishio 7.
Oh, we're doing a Xenosaga crossover.
It seems you are quite a skilled reader. For most of my readers, it would be necessary to spend several hundred pages to explain how a single person can become different people depending on their upbringing and time.
Don't underestimate your readers. We aren't just reading. We read and we think.
If I make 100 people read it, about 90 will be able to. However, only 50 will actually understand what it means, and not even 20 will actually think beyond that. And all I ask is that they think it over a little bit. Nothing more than that. However, it seems that you are one of those precious 20 readers. And that is why I invited you here, child of man.
It was seriously hard to like this Hachijo Toya person. However, though this forgery she had written was still in its first stages, it definitely felt as though it contained something very similar to the tales in those message bottles. Speaking metaphorically, one might call it a scent, an indescribably unique and stern atmosphere like a stuffy library. The Beatrice who wrote the message bottles and Hachijo Toya are different people, and yet, this has the same scent as that tale. I see. This is why some of those curious witch hunters are so intensely devoted to her. Their keen sense of smell was able to sniff out that familiar scent.
Very well, then. Please continue reading. There could be nothing more entertaining than watching your face as you glance over the words. That and speaking with you.
I guess it's true that writers are always starving for opinions on their works. However,
Bug in my throat.
sorry to disappoint you. I don't have time to read all the way through this thick manuscript. More importantly,
And yet, you have plenty of time.
both the second hand and the pendulum on the ornate clock behind Hachijo had been moving the whole time. However, absolutely no time had passed for a while now. Only about 3 minutes had gone by since the time she had entered the room.
See? Time isn't one of your problems. No sort of time will chase you away until you've finished reading.
Next page, lady, next page.
Amakusa badgered me to turn the page,
Hey.
so I returned to the world of the tale once more.
Hey, turn the page. Come on. I want to read more. Hey. Do you think if Beato's real, she'd step on me?
Why does her tail have the same scent as Beatrice's, I wonder? Is it because she actually has reached the truth as she claims?
Apricot butterflies.
Does that mean that anyone who knows the truth could create an endless number of message bottles? Is that how the Catbox world works? I see. I guess she might also be an endless witch. In fact, maybe anyone who knows the truth can become an endless witch. An endless tale created by the Endless Witches, the 2 days starting on October 4th, 1986, where my family is being toyed with endlessly. I have to end it. I have to find a hint of the truth from within this story and end this endless tale.
What do you think, Beato? That was the 6th game I've made. Well, you're not the type to give me an honest compliment anyway. You'd probably say something more like, not bad for an incompetent fool like you.
Not bad for an incompetent fool like you.
Now that I've seen what it's like to be a game master, it's pretty clear. I wasn't the only one who had read it through had it rough each and every game. Creating a game is far from easy. Certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this.
Creating a game is far from easy. I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts
Battler.
like this.
Battler, this is... Oh, dude, my dude. Oh no, oh no. My guy. Oh, fuck, dude. Don't.
Chapter 6, Cope of the Golden Witch.
Ugh, I'm gonna go huff some copium. All wrong. This isn't Beato.
Battler slammed hard on the desk, but the piece Beato showed no reaction. After all, Battler hadn't ordered her to react. It would be easy to revive that Beato as a piece. However, it would only move according to Battler's wishes. Having a conversation with it was no different from talking to himself. The Game Master could summon any kind of piece. He could move those pieces in any way he wanted, reigning as an absolute god. However, for that very reason, they were just pieces. They made it unbelievably lonely and sad.
Created many kinds of furniture, as well as several tales in the past. And I saw that I was sure you were having a great time doing it.
But that's all wrong.
You were unbelievably lonely.
It must have been such a relief for you, having an opponent like me who could actually go against you. Yep, I'm painfully aware of that now.
You can see the double quotes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Weird. Polite Beato really was you, wasn't she? The way you were 1,000 years ago.
And yet, she's a different person.
The way she looks just like you is really what I can't get over. I can't stand it.
However, she isn't a piece, so she can go against my will.
That Beato is much more alive than a piece like you. I get that. It's all wrong. That isn't you. She's a completely separate person, like a long-lost little sister or something. That's why I just can't accept her.
Much as he had hated the peace version of Beato, Battler felt an even stronger dislike for the chick Beato.
Not in like a sexist way, in like we're comparing her to a bird way. Just so we're clear about that.
Are we to conclude Battler would have preferred a dude Beato?
I hadn't considered it until now.
Even after a whole 1,000 years, she still wouldn't become the original Beato. Even if she were ordered to act just like the original Beato, it would just be an imitation. There was a very similar but separate person. Definitely not Beato herself. So in the previous game, Beato really did disappear for all eternity, even after becoming the Game Master There's no way to revive her.
Laugh at how pathetic I am.
Give it a rest already. You're just an illusion who won't laugh unless I order it. You can't even continue to laugh unless I keep on ordering it. Just disappear. Hell yeah.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.